Well, clearly Thomas has no interest in letting me eat my lunch in peace. Hello and welcome to another edition of We Stream. Today we're going to be checking out Brainwashed by Tom MacDonald because, of course, we are. This is going to be, obviously, by the title, one of those Tom MacDonald piss off everyone because why not? Which are some of the most fun Tom reactions to do. You guys like them, I like doing them. So, you know, buckle up, hold on to your butt stuff, and we're gonna see what Tim McDougal, Tommy McTougleson, Tom Tiddly Tom Tutu does this time. What you are in for is a lot of pausing, as in like every single line I will pause, and if you're not prepared or here for that, run away now. If you want to see this uninterrupted, go watch the original. We're gonna pause, we're gonna talk, we're gonna have a good time. So let's go ahead and just let's enjoy together and bask in the Tomness that is Tom of Tom. Brainwashed. This will be interesting. Let's go. Who we got? Hold on, Tom. Tom, 3 seconds in, we're going. I like the guitar. I like guitar rock Tom with his raps.
Half the country fell asleep, but they scream woke. We're distracted by vaccines and TV shows.
All right, so it's all a distraction. Yes, and half the country fell asleep, but they scream woke. I'm woke, but they sleep. You get it. We're bickering about the wrong stuff. Brainwash. That's gonna be the theme of all of this. People who just eat into whatever the media says. The media obviously just pushes a narrative that makes them money. It's not necessarily as evil as they're trying to divide and conquer, but they're just trying to get money. The government definitely wants divide and conquer, but the media usually doesn't go that deep.
Politics, celebrity, gossip, popular, neat quotes. Black lives, white lives, which lives mean most? We only dead.
Yeah, you know, depends on who you ask, I suppose. I personally like Tom's take on no lives matter. I know he was saying that if we keep this up, then no lives matter. But I'm like, you know, you have a point.
Dedicate one day to remember.
Oh, hold on. I like this flow. What is this, Tommy Tom?
Black lives, white lives, which lives?
So what is this is a smooth little flow he's about to do.
Lives mean most. We only dedicate one day to remember our fallen soldiers, the men and women who died young.
All right, so you're saying Memorial Day. We only have one day, but how many days are we gonna take to dumb stuff? I'm assuming is the next bar.
But if you come out the closet as Caitlyn Jenner, you're a hero and you get a whole Pride Month.
There you go. I figured he was going somewhere with that. You know. We're not going to talk about any of that right now. We're going to keep this video monetized today. All right. I'll go deeper onto some of these topics on my political channel when I upload there, usually once or twice a month. This is my main channel, so this is where most of my work goes into. But maybe we'll talk about some of that a little. Maybe not. But we're just gonna leave that one to Tom for now.
The most dangerous pandemic's propaganda from these clowns. Only mask that's gonna save us is duct tape on their mouths.
All right, so he's saying the most dangerous thing is all the junk they're spewing. The best mask is a duct tape one on their mouths. I wear duct tape on my mask. Yeah, if you've never seen it, that's my musical persona. You know, but he's saying the best way to stop a unspecified viral outbreak of no specific term is duct tape to shut the people up that keep talking about stuff in ways to cause mass hysteria. On this channel, we call all of that the boomer doomer, so that Aunt Susan doesn't get upset.
Don't speak. We don't need to.
Yeah, don't speak. That he's saying don't speak to the media people, but yeah, I also don't speak if you're on YouTube and stuff and you enjoy providing for your family, because YouTube be sensitive.
Police need to.
Unless you're making a song. YouTube really doesn't care what you say or do in a song, but they definitely care about commentary. Take that for what it is. That's just what it is.
It's gonna save us is duct tape on their mouths. Don't speak. We don't need to defund police. Need to defund the media who lies through their teeth.
Well, unfortunately, the media really isn't often funded by taxpayers. It's funded by people that just feed into it. It's funded by advertisers. So you can't really defund it like you could the police. You want to defund the media, you just have to stop consuming it. Unfortunately, people just won't stop. Like on my Twitter, for example, every major media outlet, those are like the only accounts that are blocked. I don't block people, but I've blocked the New York Times. I've blocked the Washington Post. So every now and then there'll be like a trending article that Twitter tries to put, and I click on it. It says, you've blocked this account. I was like, oh, good. I didn't even realize it was from one of those idiots. I suggest you do the same because they can't get ad revenue off of you if you literally block them. I have my browser's like firewall set to block those channels in case anything redirects me to like the New York Times or CNN or Fox News. Literally, my browser's set to block it because I don't want to give them any money because they're all full of nonsense. I'll go to the actual sources themselves because the internet exists. You don't need news. Everybody has the information and you just have to piece together, you know, what's the narrative and what actually happened. You don't need some dude in a $2,000 suit to tell you how to understand the world events. It's all a load of crap. So I suggest you follow in my footsteps and block them. Don't give them money. That's how you defund the media. It has to be individual people that do it.
Like, Big Pharma doesn't cure you, dog, because every patient that gets cured is a customer lost.
Every patient that gets cured is customer loss. Yeah, that's a conspiracy that's not true at all. That's one that Thomas talked about before, and I've debunked before in greater detail. That's not true. Big Pharma wants to make money, sure, but they wouldn't make money if they didn't make products that worked. And there's too many low-level scientists involved that if miracle cures and stuff existed, it would have gotten out by now, and it has gotten out. In other situations where like there have been attempts at conspiracy, it never works. It's kind of like planned obsolescence, which really exists in technology. People kind of act like that exists a little bit in a different way in Big Pharma, but it doesn't because Big Pharma's best moneymaker is delivering a product as good as it can be, that works as well as it can, and just charging way more than necessary for it. That's what they do. They don't hide the cures. They want the cures. They'll just make sure that no one can afford it, but they make deals with insurance companies so that insurance costs an American between $500 and $2,000 a month to subsidize the exorbitantly overpriced cures that they make. So no one's hiding cures to make money. It's a lot more obvious how they make money. They're trying really hard to get the best cures, and they're not holding anything back. They're just charging way more than it costs to make it, to have like 100 and 200% profit ratios, and that's conservatively speaking. Usually it's much higher than that. So there you go. It's kind of a conspiracy, but it's all out there in the open. It's not some hidden cures for diseases thing. That's just utter nonsense.
Big oil runs the world. The only wars that get fought are with the countries who have natural resources they want.
Well, yeah, duh. I don't think that's ever been that hidden. I feel like it has to be a small percentage of the population that thinks we go to war for the reasons that they try to advertise most of the time. But why would we care about the conflict in the Middle East if it's not for oil? Of course, that's why we're going there. And now that oil is becoming less used with better fuel efficient cars and electrics and hybrids, we still need oil to make all the plastic. So it's just switching to that.
Heard him claiming if a white man braids his hair and likes rap, he's appropriating culture.
Wow, we just switched to totally different topics here. We were sticking on this like brainwashed media thing, and all of a sudden we're like, aha, appropriating culture. What are we doing here, Tom? That is a different topic. That's not even a brainwashed topic. That's just a different opinion, which it's not one I agree with. Especially since it's based on like the color of your skin. Like I look like a white guy, but I'm Latino. My family was literally there at the birth of hip hop. My grandmother and my grandmother immigrated from Puerto Rico, were in the Bronx and Harlem block parties scratching with the DJs before people really rapped over the beats, when it was just really scratching with DJs, teaching salsa and stuff like that. So my family was literally at the birth of hip-hop. I saw pictures, I was told stories growing up, and I look white as hell. But some people, their families were like not even anywhere close to where it started. But because they're black, they think they own hip-hop culture. I'm like, your family wasn't even there. Mine literally was there, making hip-hop. Hip-hop is in my family's blood. So yeah, I agree with them that the idea of appropriating culture because of the color of your skin is absolute nonsense. I just don't see how that applies to the rest of the song so far.
But if a white man acts too white, he's white trash, he's a racist, he's a bigot, he's a monster.
Yeah, again, I don't know that has to do with the brainwashing. People have acted that way since before social media. Social media and all the media nonsense has made it louder, but that's always been a rhetoric. I think that has to do with ingrained pain and racism in the country, not brainwashing.
Let's just have the conversation. Not every liberal is dumb, not all Republicans are racist.
Most liberals are actually very smart. They're just not very wise. Because I was trying to not every liberal is dumb, not every Republican's racist. I mean, I think both dumb and racist are more often attributed to Republicans and conservatives than to liberals. It would be very hard to try to make the argument that liberals are dumb because they're usually far more educated. But the problem is they have no common sense or wisdom. So I guess you could call that dumb in a roundabout way, but lacking in intelligence is usually something attributed to conservatives. They're usually lower IQ, lower performers in school, less successful, less money, unless you're like top echelon Bush family sort of nonsense. So I don't know. I think I get what he's trying to say. You know, the stereotypes aren't true of the whole, right? Let's not just be divisive for the sake of division. But I would think that the liberals, it would be like not every liberal's a pussy might be better, or not every liberal is a snowflake or easily offended or delusional. But dumb seems to imply like lack of intelligence, which I don't think is attributed to liberals very often, unless it's by someone that doesn't know what they're talking about, I guess. And obviously not all conservatives are racist. It's stereotypes, labels.
The government wants everybody fighting with their neighbors because they know that if we get along, we'll probably go against them. Yeah, exactly. Divide and conquer. That's something the government wants very, very, very much, is to divide and conquer. And they've done it very, very well for a long, long time. It's the easiest way to control people. If you pit people on two different sides and make them willing to like bleed, scream, and die for that side, then you own them. You own those people. That's why I always say if anyone's like full conservative or full liberal, I don't have any respect for your logical abilities to reason through things. I really only have respect for people's logical abilities to reason through things when it comes to politics if they're somewhere in the dead center. And that's just how it is. There's no way around it. Because if you are extreme conservative or extreme liberal, you're brainwashed. You're delusional. You are a pawn in a bigger game. So if you are that, wake up. Get out of it. Both conservatives and liberals have a lot of really good points. They're just usually a little too far on them. The truth lies somewhere in the details in between. Just like with everything else in life, diets aren't extreme things. It's everything moderation. Usually wherever you find that middle moderate ground is where the most truth lies, because just think about how extremes work. There's no way everyone would believe these extremes if there was no truth to them. So the truth is somewhere in between. They can't stop us, 'cause we're ready to fight.
Interesting hook. Brainwash us.
We won't let freedom die.
It's a good time to mention we're like 15 minutes into this and only a minute into the song. I promised you pauses and excessive amounts of talking, and I feel like I'm delivering on that promise. So, leave a comment below about how annoyed you are at my talking, or how pleased you are that we're having this thorough look at the song. Whichever camp you fall in, drop a like if you're enjoying this, drop a dislike if you're not. Engage with the video, have a good time. It's the internet. Just don't take it all too seriously. Just enjoy your stay. All right. We good. All right.
The whole world's brainwashed. Everybody pick a team, start a riot in the streets.
I like that. Everybody pick a team, it's not a riot in the streets. I think it started right in the streets. Everybody pick a team, started right in the streets. I just like the sound of it. It's got a a little bit of a alternative rock, maybe Rage Against the Machine a little bit. I like Tom's voice and style when put into this. I like that he didn't really break into like this big pop production type hook or something. Still not my favorite thing. Tom Hooks and I have a interesting relationship. It's not my favorite Tom hook. It's not my least favorite Tom hook. It's a hook that's kind of there, but it has some stylings that are appealing, which I assume I owe Evan the credit for that. So thank you, Evan. Evan's the audio engineer for Tom MacDonald, if you don't know. Tom produces the stuff. Evan's the one that does the mix and master and a lot of the vocal effects and things like that. Evan is goated status.
The whole world's brainwashed. It's us against them, it ain't you against me. How did
us against them, not you against me. Exactly. That's what I'm saying too. I'm like, you don't need to do all the infighting. I really suggest coming out of the two extremes, finding yourself somewhere in the middle and realizing the game that's being played on you, and not trusting any of these people. That's a good option.
Monkeys become people and people turned into sheep. They put
monkeys became people, then people turned into sheep. Quick evolution lesson from your boy Tom. Why am I not in focus? And hopefully, okay, there we go. Hopefully I hadn't been out of focus for too long.
Fluoride in the water that's keeping us all asleep.
Well, the fluoride doesn't keep us asleep. The fluoride in the water, there's a lot of issues with that, but a lot of the conspiracy issues of fluoride in the water aren't true. But we're not going to get into all the dental crap. The whole system of dentistry is whack.
Claim they want what's best for us. I find it hard to believe because they've been selling us cigarettes since we was 18.
Well, now in most, well, not most, but at least in states around me, the cigarette age is now 21, just like alcohol. But yeah, cigarettes aren't that great for you. However, the oldest person ever on documented history was a habitual smoker, not like a chain smoker, not like pack a day, but they had like 2 or 3 cigarettes a day, and they lived to be like 122 or something. So, you know, everything in moderation, apparently, including cigarettes. A few cigarettes a day probably won't hurt you. You live to be in your 120s, but smoking a pack a day or 2 packs a day, that's different. Moderation, kids. Really, the sooner you learn that in life, pretty much the rule to everything is moderation, like the happier you'll be. It literally applies to almost every facet of life. If you just don't go crazy on anything and you just like do small bits of anything, almost nothing is really that harmful. I think there's even like, if you want to go to like old wisdom on this, I think there's an old like Bible verse in the Christian Bible about like everything is permissible and like within reason. And that's like so true. Like everything's good if you don't go crazy with it. And that's true. I'm someone that believes in an intelligent design to the world. And I think the world we live in was designed smart enough that as long as you don't go whack with everything, everything's all right. You want to get high on shrooms once? Go for it. You know, the rant over.
Fake news, fake woke, distract and divide. You're either right or you're left or you're black or you're white.
Yeah, we're going on the divide and conquer again. We've talked about that.
Big tech don't need a microchip to hack in your life because the phone inside your pocket is a tracking device.
Yeah, no, see, and that I like this. Tom's like, they're not putting microchips in the unspecified needle injection thing. They're not putting microchips in that. First of all, you're not important enough to get a free microchip in you. Second, why would they need to? You got a cell phone, don't you? Why would they need a microchip in you? That's always been the weirdest thing to me, is that conspiracy. I'm like, why? If they want to put a microchip in you, they just tell you they were. In fact, there are versions of the needle pinchy device that have experimental microchips that they're working on that would detect if you had different diseases and then like alert and adjust. Like, they got you if you got a smartphone. And if you're watching this, you probably got a smartphone or at least something with the internet. So it's too late, man. If you're worried about their influence based on being able to know who you are, what you're doing, and every step you've taken, it's too late. They already have that. So you got to fight a different battle.
And I don't know what I'm more sick of, rappers or Joe Biden looking like he ate 100 Xanax for dinner.
That poor man's about to die. Let's leave old man alone. He's not hurting anyone. He's being manipulated a lot. It does look like some form of elder abuse, though, seeing him out there. I've always felt that if you have to be 35 or older to be the president, then you should not be allowed to be the president if you're over 65. And that would have gotten rid of a couple presidents in recent history that I don't think were fit to lead. You know, just you have 30 years to be president, between 35 and 65. Otherwise, you're too young or too old. It seems fair. You know, you might as well put that rule on Congress as well. All of those things. Once you're 65, just enjoy your retirement. The world doesn't operate the way that it used to. Your opinion and wisdom is dated. It's time to just take a nap or start a business with all that government money that you stole from the people, right? Just get out of politics, please. And if you don't agree with that, I don't know, man. I can't help you, I guess.
Censoring the president and kicking him off Twitter is a bigger threat to freedom than foreign ballistic missile.
I mean, that's not wrong. I don't agree with Mr. Rump in a lot of what he did or said, but none of it was dangerous. And the idea that Twitter tries to hide behind, well, we're a private company. Come on. That would be like if it's equivalent to if like 20 or 30 years ago, AT&T was, you know, they provided all the home phone services everywhere. It'd be the same thing, really, if they shut off his phone line because they decided he was dangerous. They're like, well, we're a private company. Bro, you're the way that people communicate. Well, he could get a different way that's not a phone. He could send a fax to people or use some other rink-a-dink phone company that will charge everyone basically late night and roaming fees to call, so nobody's going to use it. Like, no. Once you get to a certain size, I'm a little more okay with government intervention when it comes to regulating businesses, which is, I know that's scary for conservatives and a lot of libertarians, but as long as everyone can agree on the regulations, if you don't regulate big business, you get that. You get Twitter being able to literally shut down the president. And when you're shutting down major means of communication in the modern world, it's not just a private business's personal decision. It is way too impactful. And I'm sure that's going to change over the next 5 or 10 years as, you know, we get people into Congress and government who aren't a million years old and who do understand the internet, and that shit will get regulated. That's how it works. I know a lot of people are like, regulation's always bad. No, it's not. Grow up. Seriously, grow up. If you don't want regulation, then good luck. Good luck with all the monopolies. And you really think anyone with power is looking out for you? No. The best way to prevent abuse of power is to reduce power with checks and balances. Checks and balances, what does that look like? At big levels, regulations. That's what checks and balances are. So, grow up.
You don't trust the police or the government, but you want people giving up their right to own a firearm. Why would you be...
Yeah, we don't trust police or the government, but we don't want you to have guns. There's hypocrisy and lack of thinking things through everywhere. I think the people that don't want guns in civilians' hands also don't want guns in government hands, though, to be fair. Usually the anti-gun crowd just wants all the guns of the world to just magically disappear. It's a fear thing. They want a security blanket. It won't work.
Be comfortable if police and the government the only people on the planet with the right to buy a gun.
Guns are another sensitive topic for YouTube, so we'll tread lightly. If you want to have one, you should be able to have one. Protect yourself. I don't know if you need fully automatic guns or bazookas. I don't know who you're protecting yourself from at that point. The government, bro. If the government wants you dead, they'll drone strike your house. They already know where you live. Like, it's a bad argument. If there was a civil war and government uprising, it would be the military versus the military. The branches of the military would fight each other with their military weapons. What are you going to do about that? Nothing. You're going to do nothing about that because they got drones, they got an air force. You ain't doing shit. You're hiding in a bunker or you're getting killed no matter what arsenal you have. So calm down. A regular firearm or a shotgun will protect you from any normal threat police or otherwise included if the police were turning on you. Just get armor-piercing rounds, but you don't need the other stuff, okay? Except for like recreational, but your recreation is probably not that important. Does that mean I think that you shouldn't legally be allowed to have it? I'm kind of like in an I don't know spot there. I don't care enough to push one way or the other. I always have to make a point that the interpretation of right to bear arms is taken grossly out of context by a lot of conservatives. I have the right to have anything. Okay, so should you be able to have nukes? What are you doing? Calm down. Think about it for a second. Of course, you're not going to think about it. You're just going to screech, make, squealing conservative noises about guns, just like liberals make squealing liberal noises when you say, maybe you shouldn't just ignore the fact that biological sex exists. Maybe you shouldn't, indoctrinate children into ideologies rather than educational principles. And then you get screeching liberal noises. And all day, maybe I was wrong about being in the center of politics as I'm thinking through this, because being in the center of politics is so frustrating. My comment sections on all these kind of videos are filled with people either calling me like a liberal pussy or a conservative moron. And I'm like, bro, I'm neither. All you're doing is exposing which side you're on when you leave those comments and just making me go, oh, my hope for humanity is so low. Anyway.
White privilege getting amplified to reinforce division. It convinces white people that they're favored by their skin and black people.
Yeah, I don't like the focus on white privilege. It's been confusing for me. So I'm like, I guess I would get white privilege since I'm white looking, but my mom's brown and I'm not technically white. All of legal documents, I'm Latino. So I'm like, is it because of the color of my skin? Is it because of my ethnic or racial background? Like, how does it work? Also, does that mean that my brothers who are dark and my mom didn't have white privilege, but I did? And if that's the case, then why did we all have pretty much the same life experiences growing up? Like, there's flaws in the logic. Deep flaws. I think privilege is rooted in money. Like complete money and whatever social regime you choose to associate with. I think there's definitely social privilege and financial privilege. Like if you decide to adopt a social, like suburban life, you dress like a suburban person, you dress middle class, you act all polite like middle class. Whether or not you have middle class money, a lot of times you'll get treated favorably because you're presenting yourself like that. But if you dress or act like you're from lower class, poverty, from the hood or whatever, and you carry yourself like that, whether or not you have a lot of money, you'll probably be treated a certain way. I think we have a lot more issue with classism and that kind of tribalistic mindset in this country than we do with outward appearance as far as skin color is concerned. But that's been from my personal experience. I'm not going to speak for everyone in the world, but that's been my personal experience. When I've seen discrimination or unfair or preferential treatment, it's had far more to do with someone's social and financial status than the color of their skin.
People getting angry because they're told they're treated different, so the conflict is between us and never with the system.
Yep. That's all I need to say to that one. Yup.
Just have the conversation. Not every liberal is dumb, not all Republicans.
Oh, so that's the bridge. That little thing is the bridge. Bro, we're 30 minutes in, 2 minutes into the song. This reaction's either going to be loved or hated. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm going to edit this very much. You're just going to get to hear me ramble.
Are racist. The government wants everybody fighting with their neighbors because they know that if we get along, we'll probably go against them.
Against them. I like how he's pronouncing some of this stuff.
They can't stop us.
Nah.
We're ready to fight.
This hook's growing on me a little bit. I don't know that I would bump this song in the car or anything, but this is fun.
Trying to brainwash us.
A little bit of an Eminem feel to that too. The way he does harmony. Dun 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 dun. It feels like early 2000s Eminem choruses in a little bit of a way.
Don't let freedom die.
Also, shout out to the video. Nova always doing a great job. I wonder where they got all these TVs from, like Goodwill or something.
The whole world's brainwashed. Everybody picking teams, start a riot in the street.
Probably eBay. It's hard to find these even at Goodwill anymore.
The whole world's brainwashed. It's us against them, it ain't you against me.
So, in other words, fight back the media and government. They suck.
Step 1, train the people only to consume. Step 2.
All right, so he's talking about the media and government plan. Step 1, train the people only to consume. You know, dopamine addictions and stuff like that. If you don't know what that is, go look it up.
Infiltrate adults with the news.
Step 2, get the adults brainwashed on the news.
3, indoctrinate the children through the schools.
There you go. Step 3 is you get the school. I was talking about that earlier. The crap that the schools try to teach because of the liberal message. The message. Oh boy. Oh, how long I could talk about how insane the liberal view of the world is. It's what happens when you let sociology run free. When you allow sociology to have power over psychology and biology and history, you get the liberal agenda. Sociology is not even a real science. It's a social science. It's a soft science. There's no real data or facts. It's complete conjecture with some statistics from self-reported surveys and stuff as the backing. And when you take that more seriously than hard neurological science, evolutionary biology, historical accuracy, when you say, you know, all of that is second tier to sociology, well, you're left with the liberal agenda, and God, is it a mess. Oh. I gotta keep going.
And the music and the apps on the phones that they use. Step 4.
Yeah, get all the apps to brainwash the children with the school.
Separate the right from the left. Step 5.
Yep, divide and conquer.
Separate the white from the black.
Yeah, divide and conquer by race. Tribalism. Humans have ingrained in our evolutionary biology tribalism. So when you can exploit that, it's like a cheat code.
Step 6, separate the rich from the poor.
Yeah, this is all tribalistic separation. Yep, he's just outlining all the different ways you do it.
Or use religion and equality to separate them more. Step.
Yup. What else do you got, Tom?
7, fabricate a problem, made a lie. Step.
Yep, make up problems for people. Once you're privileged enough, with most people in the U.S. are very, very privileged. Once you get to a certain level of privilege, people desire problems and strife. It's human nature. So if you don't have any, all it takes is someone to invent one for you and just slip that in there, and they could decide and tell you what the problem is. That's how most advertising works. They say, oh, you're not happy, are you? And you're like, I thought I was happy. No, you're not. Not until you get the new iPhone that's 0.5% different than the iPhone you currently have, right? That's it's creating a problem where you didn't have one and offering a solution that you pay for.
Step 8, put it on the news every night. Step 9, when people start to fight and divide, take
Yeah, when they fight and divide, what are you going to say? Film it? Put it on the news?
control. This is called situational design.
Yeah, take control. Okay. So everyone starts to fight. Everyone starts to freak out. Be like, well, if people are going to fight like that, I guess someone's got to take control of it, even though they're the ones that caused the fight. Right? It'd be like egging two people on in a bar. They're drunk, and you start telling lies about each other. Like you go up to one drunk guy and you go, he said your mom's fat. You go up to the other drunk guy. He said your dad's a whore. Dad's a whore. Okay. And you just get them to hate each other behind closed doors. And then they start fighting and you go, oh my goodness, I guess I have to be the bouncer here. You guys, neither of you are allowed to drink anymore. You're going to pay me $10 a day to help protect you from each other, since clearly you can't protect yourself. This is how it works. That's what he's pointing out.
They can't stop us, 'cause we're ready to fight.
I mean, they can stop us pretty easily because most people aren't that bright.
Trying to brainwash us, but we won't let freedom die.
Shout out to anyone still watching this long in.
The whole world's brainwashed. Everybody pick a team, start a riot in the streets.
The whole world's brainwashed.
The whole world's brainwashed. It's us against them, it ain't you against me.
Always with the hooks that you could sing along to before the song's over. Good work, Thomas. Alrighty. So that was Brainwashed. A million years later, we're done with this reaction. If you are still here, holy cow, you better be subscribed to the channel. Otherwise, I don't know what's wrong with you. Last call to leave a comment on this video to let YouTube know that you had a good time or a bad time. I don't care. However of a time that you had. What were your favorite parts of this song or my reaction? Sound off below. Maybe just tell me your favorite color. I don't care. Until next time, I scheme, you scheme, we all scheme for ice cream. Bye!